This is about More Musings by TimHolt. By accident, I wound up reading another book by TimHolt. I had already read two written by him, one a history and philosophy of jokes, and the other centered on the question of being, namely, why is there something rather than nothing? There is clearly no certain single answer to that most fundamental of questions, but that doesn't stop Holt from thinking about it. In fact, knowing there is no answer is the big attraction for him. It isn't a problem, it's a mystery, and he's fascinated by it. So Holt is out there on the boundary of what we can possibly know and what is beyond us. And that is exactly what the third book is about, a collection of essays entitled When Einstein Walked with Gödel, Excursions to the Edge of Thought. Einstein, he's familiar. Gödel, I've never heard of him. Holt calls him the finest logician of the 20th century, and an odd duck to boot. He discovered what is called the incompleteness theorem, something I don't understand, but supposedly has tremendous implications for our understanding, or not understanding, of just about everything, according to Holt. He also says that the incompleteness theorem is the second most misinterpreted bit of information of the century just past, right behind Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which Holt says is completely misunderstood and misapplied, not just in science, but also as a metaphor in virtually all areas of life. Holt writes about philosophers. I'm surprised they still exist, but he finds them, attached to various graduate schools around the nation and the world, busy thinking about things that would never occur to an ordinary individual. Mathematicians, who, it probably does not need to be said, live in a world of their own, one where numbers and numerical symbols have a greater, deeper, and truer reality than sidewalks, oranges, and baseball bats. Scientists, ditto, mystics, and theologians. These people contemplate topics that we ignore, things like eternity, infinity, the universe, and cosmology. The true subject of Holt's investigations is the limitations of human knowledge, and at the very limit, he peeks over and gets almost giddy at what he can't see. He is cheerful, entertaining, inquisitive, and never dogmatic. He's extremely well read in his special field, and what he has read, he has absorbed and understood, no mean accomplishment, as much of it begins with the abstruse and from there trails off like smoke. Holt questions everything. He checks it all out, and like a good mathematician, he looks for proof that is logical and consistent. And he has a lot of fun along the way. He notes the two math students who plotted to discredit their mentor, Pavel Alexandrov and Andrei Kolmogorov, one of the greatest mathematicians of the 20th century, according to Holt. He says they became longtime gay lovers. Their favorite activity was swimming vast distances and then doing math together in the nude. Holt also tells of the Englishman who observed two women quarreling with each other from their respective attic windows across a narrow street in Edinburgh. Those two will never agree, he remarked. They are arguing from different premises. He writes that there came a time when people who care about such things decided that there was no such thing as the infinitesimal, the instant of being we call now, the present. The resulting sense of ontological discontinuity can be detected in the cultural lurch toward modernism, Holt says, as witness Seurat's pointillism, Muybridge's stop-motion photography, the poetry of Rimbaud and Laforgue, The tone rose of Schoenberg and the novels of Joyce. Finally, he registers a study which showed that the most incompetent people have the most inflated notion of their abilities. Not only do they reach erroneous conclusions and make unfortunate choices, but their incompetence also robs them of the ability to realize it. I knew it, and here's proof. Ignorance really is bliss.